So today's video is going to be an interesting one because all we're really doing is responding to one tweet. Because yesterday, the Montreal Canadiens had themselves a pretty interesting news cycle coming off the heels of their terrible defeat against the New York Rangers. And honestly, I'm kind of getting sick of it a little. Like, it was 2 days ago, and this might be like the third something video that we're making that actually revolves around the events of that game. Third, right? Yeah, I think so. And ultimately, it takes a lot of the ideas that we had seen in those prior videos and combines it into one. Let's revisit the Jacob Trouba hit and go over some comments made by one Arber Xhekaj, who was not in the game. Here it is right here from Canadiens practice yesterday, Arber Xhekaj speaking out about the Trouba hit to Barron. To throw a hit like that, I didn't like to see it. And I know I probably would have done something if I was in the lineup, or addressed it for sure. But we'll definitely remember it and see what happens next game. And if that is not a warning, I don't know what is. Man, the guy's straight up saying, if I play next game and we got this team, Trouba, you better watch your back because we're not gonna forget, you know? We're like Michael Cera and Superbad. People don't forget, buddy. And there are a number of ways we can go out there and get into this conversation. Firstly, I wanted to say that Jacob Trouba did immediately drop the gloves with Mike Matheson after the hit incurred, but also that aftermath was in the heat of the moment. There were still comments made after the game, like Brendan Gallagher's, for example, where he said that Jacob Trouba is a guy who has had multiple warnings over and over again, so it's up to the league to decide whether or not it is in their best interest to give this guy whatever discipline that he needs. We also know from yesterday's videos that Jacob Trouba did not get any discipline. No fine, no nothing for the hit on Justin Barron. There was zero punishment because he was protected by the one specific rule in the rulebook that states that when a player is going for a hit and it's not really his choice to hit the other player's head, then he can be protected. It was seemingly a shoulder to chest hit that was intended, but Justin Barron did go down at the last second, so obviously he got the majority of the impact on his head. Very unfortunate way that Barron entered the situation, but Jacob Trouba having this hearing from Arber Xhekaj, it also bleeds into the Xhekaj conversation we had yesterday too, where reports were saying that Arber Xhekaj could probably be on his way out because the Montreal Canadiens are not using him, and another team would. Another team would see value in Xhekaj in his physical game, in his defensive aggression, not necessarily like defensive capabilities. You know, I don't think anybody's going out there saying that Arber Xhekaj is the best defender out there, nor is he really the best offensive defender out there either. He's just a guy who fulfills a very specific role that the Montreal Canadiens haven't really allowed themselves to use too much. That's another conversation, too, that I wanted to get into, because, like, a lot of people are replying to the Xhekaj tweet, this comment here where he had spoken out about the Jacob Trouba hit and saying, oh, like, why do we need to think about what Xhekaj is saying? He's a 7th defenseman. He got scratched. Like, he's not good enough to play in the Montreal Canadiens decor. So why should we really take him seriously? And it bleeds into two other conversations that you can have as to whether or not Xhekaj's role is valuable enough to be brought into the game, and also whether or not the Canadiens are making a mistake by scratching this guy. We had seen the strategy work out, sort of, in the Islander game. I mean, the Canadiens lost, but they got it to overtime, and then against the Rangers, they totally crapped the bed. So another idea is, hey, if the Canadiens are not great, they're losing these games. Some of them they're losing because they're just straight up getting outplayed. Others, they're losing them by a flip of a coin. If they're losing games anyway, why not play Arber Xhekaj? Why not have that security? Because a lot of this Canadiens core, I mean, I hate to say it, with Juraj Slafkovsky and Patrik Laine out of the lineup, you got a few big guys remaining. You've got Kirby Dach, and that's pretty much it. A bunch of these other guys are on the smaller side, Cole Caulfield especially. Nick Suzuki isn't the biggest dude in the world, and then you have some other names rounding out too. Not to say that Brendan Gallagher can't hold his own, but would it not be appropriate to have guys in the lineup who can police? And that's exactly what Arber Xhekaj does. And of course, the way Xhekaj even is talking about it, like, yeah, if I was in the lineup, I would have done this. If I was playing, if I was a part of the conversation, then I would have been in there. You can tell this guy really does want to play, and he had expressed his frustration in the practice before the Ranger game began, it seemed like, that he was very upset that he wasn't playing. So really, I think this conversation has 3 points in it. One, are the Montreal Canadiens making the best roster decisions by keeping Xhekaj out of the lineup? 2, is Arber Xhekaj going to stand not being in the lineup, and is he going to acquiesce to being okay with this system? Is he going to be in some sort of a trade conversation? And 3, if he is in the lineup and he does end up playing off against the Rangers, what happens between him and Trouba? You can say, oh, it's Matt Rempe's opportunity. Matt Rempe is going to step in there and answer the bell and bite back against Arber Xhekaj. But I also kind of question, what kind of narrative does that set? If Jacob Trouba can't fight his own battles because, sure, he ended up hitting Justin Barron in a pretty bad way, if he's not there to answer the bell for himself, then I don't know what optics are going to look like with the New York Rangers and Trouba as the captain in that locker room. You can say he already did answer the bell, but Arber Xhekaj, as we had said, he wasn't in the game when that went down. So who knows, maybe once this entire angle gets revisited the next time the Habs and the Rangers play off, maybe if Arber Xhekaj is in, he starts crap again and everybody gets back into it. Because if the game starts and tensions are already flaring, then who knows what's going to go down. This is also why I thought it was a really great idea. We had spoken about this in a prior video, but I loved the idea of Arber Xhekaj being played at forward, mostly because what Matt Rempe sort of is for New York, you could bring that exact element out of Arber Xhekaj, and you're not interfering with the defense logjam that there is either. I get it, Mike Matheson had some injury scares, David Reinbacher's already out, Cayden Gouli's out too, so there might be a little bit more of a need to have extra defensemen in the lineup, but still, if Xhekaj's not playing, then you're losing out on that element. If you just throw him on the fourth line instead at forward, you can have him be a wrecking ball, have a whole bunch of hits, have a whole bunch of physical moments in the offensive zone as a hard forechecker. That could be really interesting. I mean, he's already got a brother that's pretty much doing the same thing in Laval in Florian Xhekaj, so why not even try Arber in this same spot? I don't know, it's just a thought process that I thought was interesting to dive into. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Arber Xhekaj speaking out about Jacob Trouba and sending a warning for the next time the Montreal Canadiens and the Rangers play. That is, of course, assuming Xhekaj is in the lineup and assuming he actually gets the minutes to go out there and do what he needs to do. Do you think this bleeds into a bigger issue of Xhekaj not participating in Canadiens games, him getting scratched? Do you think there's an opportunity that him and his agent will potentially be interested in if it means getting out of Montreal and going to a team that's going to play him more? We had already made the video yesterday that he could be on his way out because some other teams could see more value in him than Montreal does, but let me know your thoughts in the comments how exactly you respond to that and whether or not you think it's really something to think about heading into the next few days here. So thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.